I'm Sami and today I'm going to be going through my NBA 2020 to 2021 season database. This database will allow users to query data about players and teams from the last season. There are many different types of players that would benefit from having access to such data, such as a team that's maybe looking to make a trade for another player, a fantasy basketball fan who's trying to figure out which player best suits their team, and people who make game predictions based on the previous season where they'd be able to figure out how well a team is going to do in the upcoming season. So my database makes use of some terminology. So the PG essentially stands for per game. So the stats that are so, for example, the assists made per game, and that is averaged over the season. Likewise, it's the same for blocks, minutes, points, rebounds, and the turnover rate. And the T code represents like the team abbreviation TOR for Toronto. The OEF stands for the offensive efficiency, so points scored per 100 possessions. Defensive efficiency, um, points allowed for 100 possessions, and this is essentially the the E difference would be the the efficiency differential using this formula, the strength of schedule, the opponent efficiency differential average for all the teams that are played in the season, and the higher the SOS rating, the more difficult schedule that a team has had, and the consistency based on game by game differential variation. The higher the consistency rating, the more unpredictable a team is. So in my players, this should be PID, but I have players as and the shot types using PID as the primary key, and this is a foreign key to this player key. Likewise, I have teams, and the T code would be and a foreign key to this one. Although I think I might have left that out. Um, I'll just go over the schema. Uh, so the players, um, PID is the primary key. Real is just like a decimal type. The team efficiencies, team shot types that correspond to a player. So each player has like their own set of shot types. Originally, I thought this would be end to end because many different players have different shot types, but then each player has their own shot, has their own set of free throw percentage rate, their two percentage rate, and 3 pointer percentage rate. So really, in reality, it's 1-to-1, the shots attempted relation, and the teams, uh, and with the relationship between the players and the teams. There are a few players that have played for different teams in the season, um, but so and there's multiple teams, and each of them has one player. But there are certain instances where a player has played for different teams, and the team performance relation between team efficiencies and teams is that team efficiencies also uses the T code as the primary key, uh, and also the PID, the player ID, is also used as the primary key with this table. So I'm just going to go over a couple of queries that I made. This query just goes over players who can play center, and it sort of looks at their three percentage rate. I'm going to zoom on this a little bit if I can, if it'll let me. All right. Um, so I'll do dot read example one dot SQL. So this basically just goes over all players who play center and their 3% rate. My example two, um, does the same thing, but it sorts it in descending order. And I have another example right here that just goes over the players, the amount of games that they played. It basically just goes over players who have played for different teams throughout the season and their performance, just specifically regarding at the games that they played, and the team that they played for, and the per game average. Excuse me. Um, so as you can see, there's just there's a players that play for multiple teams, and it lists their the games that they played and the points per average for that team. I have my fourth example, my final example right here, that just goes over the player name, their team code, the games that they played, the points that they average with that team. So it's building off of example 3, but I also look at the team efficiency. So when they were on that team, like how difficult of a season that they had. And if I do example 4 right here, it shows SOS rating right here, and for each player, it it lists like it lists like the higher SOS rating that the duplicate players had with the respective team, and it also shows that the points that they averaged based on that. Uh, Thank you for listening to my video.